Dog fans, it is time for the season 2 premiere of Hunker Down as we go through the landscape, right through the hedges into everything UGA this year. Not only is Jeremy the Impact York hosting, but we've got Jake Trash Panda Skinner, the foremost expert, especially of all the people here at Impact Media. But it is good to get Jake on the show. He's going to be here a lot this year, and welcome to the show.
Appreciate it, man. Looking forward to it. By the way, those hedges are a religion in Georgia, just so you know.
We had some at the high school that me and John from Impact Media here attended, and we regularly got yelled at for being near them when we were in band. So we know all about the hedges. Luckily, they ripped those up after we left. But we've got a lot to talk about. UGA has just a ton of things going on, a lot of hype coming into them this
Oh
year.
yeah.
Uh, Luckily, as we said, they, for the most part, kept their nose clean. There was only a couple good driver awards handed out. It seems like they did pretty good with that. We're gonna leave that one
Yeah.
where it is there. But overall, how do you think their spring into summer has kind of went?
I think it's gone the way Kirby wanted. Quiet. Other than the obvious issues, it's been fairly quiet. He got to flesh out the football team, find out what they had. I read the message boards like you do. Of course, being a Georgia fan, I'm going to be on quite a few of them. I don't have true sources, but I can go off of what I've read, and that staff is excited. The big key one was they kept waiting for Carson Beck to have a bad day all spring, all fall. That's to me that says everything I needed to hear. He had a bad one at the scrimmage the other Saturday, and they've purposely made him start bad, and he fed into it and quickly bounced back, which is huge if you're a Dog fan wondering if Carson can handle the role finally.
Oh yeah, and that's the best part. Honestly, is we know the depth chart. There's all kinds of fun names, especially in the recruiting world that
Hmm.
they got into. Um, I had them pulled up. It doesn't matter anymore because Carson Beck is the actual. They named him
Starter,
starter.
yeah.
Like you said, we kind of been waiting on him to kind of take the ball and run with it, and kind of thought maybe he would get a little into it last year, and it seems
Yeah,
like
so
finally he took that step.
he did. So apparently Kirby did say in 2020 that he was ready to go back then. It's just Stetson did come on and perform better in practice. Carson was in the doghouse and has been, but then they weren't gonna, they kind of ran with who they had to. I mean, we got a good quarterback room. I won't say it's the best in the world, but I mean, you got Brock Vandegrift as the backup, and I will tell you now, don't be shocked if he transfers. Um,
I could see
Good
that.
kid, but the problem is Stafford didn't learn until he was in the pros how to layer a throw.
Mhm.
Vandegrift is fastball, fastball, fastball. Again, not knocking Prince out. I think it was Prince Avenue Christian that he played for his dad. Don't get me wrong, but small A school, it's taken him a while to get there. Gunnar Stockton is a five-star. Watched him play against Brock in high school. Stockton is legit. He just not the most talented out of the group, but the team trusts him more than they do Vandegrift from everything I've heard. And then everyone's favorite, if you read the message boards, is Jackson Muschamp, whose dad is our defense coordinator. But we got a good room for this year. We'll be fine at quarterback. Our team is loaded and ready to throw the ball for once. This isn't your Vince Dooley 3 yards in a cloud of dust anymore.
Absolutely. And if anybody tries to discount the fact that the UGA theme actually makes these players better, they're already talented, but it
I'm sorry
enhances
if
the thing.
if you've never been to a game, trust me. I sorry to cut you off. You're not wrong. Especially when they start doing the battle hymn of the Bulldog Nation, you can't help but get chill bumps at that stadium. I can do it now just watching YouTube.
Oh yeah. Like I said, this system does help these guys be better, especially with their talents and everything like that. And for anybody who this is not a shot at all, but for anybody who doesn't believe that, you should go look at the preseason stats of a couple of your former UGA slingers from the Rams
Mm,
game the other night. They
yeah,
it wasn't pretty.
yeah. He's a cheat code apparently in Madden, by the way, too.
Oh,
From everything I've been hearing, like they say he's a legit cheat code in the video game.
do you want to win your season? Add him to your team.
Yeah, it's just I just don't feel like giving EA 60, $70 for that game this year.
Unless, of
But
course, I mean,
you're talking,
we
yeah.
can set up a GoFundMe in case our viewers here want to fund, Jake being able to play the NCAA game. You can send all your funds We'll set up something.
No, I'll get it for Baldur's Gate. I'll be happy with that one.
There we go. Probably a better choice.
Probably so.
But this team, like you said, is ready to throw, but they are still known for running the ball.
Well, yeah. So we did lose Branson Robinson. If you look at his body, he was a Nick Chubb, baby Nick Chubb, but he's not as fast. He's finally getting comfortable. Was it a patella tendon out for the year? Having to look that up. The running back room doesn't, we don't have that Todd Gurley, Sony Michel, Nick Chubb room we've had, or the DeAndre Swift. Like, it's not been a bad room, but we haven't had like the top tier. Like Dale's getting great guys, our running back coach. Um, I think this year's surprise is, depending on how the ACL is feeling, is Andrew Paul. Number
Mm-hmm.
3, he's out of Texas. We went and got him out of over Clemson and Texas, who was willing to pay money. He came to Georgia, tore his ACL. Apparently, he was almost close to being the first guy second guy off the bus, so to speak, in that running back room. They're saying that he's got the explosion back, so 2 easy games, in which we'll cover in a minute. He's going to have time to get going. But the room looks good. I think my favorite one I can't wait to see is not only the true freshman Roderick Robinson, who is a 6 foot, 240-pound bull out of California, but Sevon Clark. He's a walk-on that Georgia convinced to come back, who was wanting to transfer out. He's a running. That guy's something else about him. I saw him I think did get to play against TCU.
And Georgia
He
knows a little bit
he
about those
carried the rock good.
walk-ons. They know a little bit about those walk-ons.
Yeah. Yes, we do. We love our walk-ons around here.
Yeah, definitely so. Of course, we know the usual suspects are still out there to catch the ball. We talked about slinging the ball. Lad McConkey, Rosamond,
Yeah.
Jack Saint. Shoot, I forgot Brock Bowers. How I've forgotten his
Brock,
name, I don't know.
you can't go
Yeah,
on Brock. Yeah.
he's like
So
the
I
human
can
cheat code himself. But I mean, it's
he
all the
is.
usual suspects are out there. Plus, just know if you think the running back room is as deep as we just mentioned 5 or 6 names, the wide receiver core might be 20 deep.
They are. It's unreal. So from what I've heard is the way. So excuse me, I apologize. That Dr. Pepper be hitting me different. The way that wide receiver room looks right now is it's set up for Carson. Carson is let me sling the ball. He's going to throw the ball 60 yards downfield without even trying. He's pretty effortless, although the guy we got coming next year actually throws the ball even more effortless than that. So we can get to that, but like that room is set up with speed. You forgot to mention one name who doesn't sound like a big name, but Dominic Lovett,
Mm.
transfer out of Missouri. He tore up Georgia. Go back and watch that game. We couldn't stop him. When we did, he still got 10 yards of the gash. This kid has been killing our secondary all preseason, all fall camp, and the secondary finally got to where they could kind of slow him down. And that's not a knock against our secondary. That's how good he is. Look out for true freshmen Zeed Haynes and Anthony Evans. Small kids. Well, one of them's like 5'10", out of Texas and Pennsylvania. Kind of kids you want, speedsters. Georgia's loaded. I've never seen a wide receiver room. I'm scrolling the list now. Like, not to mention Cole Spear we got last year, who was good. I thought was going to start. He didn't get to yet. Dylan Bell is a running back wide receiver hybrid. He's a wide receiver by nature, but Georgia's actually had him practice at running back because of injuries. You never know what you need. And I was going to say there was one more, Arian Smith. We saw him against Ohio State. Apparently, he's finally learned how to run a complete route tree, which
That
that's
just
scary.
Yeah, that basically that just makes it even worse. That's like your enemy
Hmm.
rolling at you with 20 tanks, and you look, and now they have a plane. It just
Also, if you for all you tight end kind of people out there, if you thought we only had Brock and we lost Darnell, Oscar Delp has bulked from 220 to 245. He's insane. Lawson Lucky, true freshman, just had tightrope surgery so he could play this year. 6'3", 240, and they said he's as athletic as Brock, and he's bigger. Not to mention that guy, but then you got Pierce Sperling. Pierce Sperling, 6'7", 230. Georgia's not going to stop running 2 tight end formations, but we don't have to this year. We got the boys on the edge to do it.
and shout out to the tight end room for having just the most astronaut sounding crew names there ever were. If I told you that Brock Bowers, Oscar Delp, Lawson Lucky, and Pierce Sperling the third were all
Yeah,
going to go on a trip to Mars, you'd believe me.
Yeah, and we have a walk-on named Drew Sheehan. So I mean, we got like, and
He,
he'll never even see the field, but like that kind of a name, you got a room right there.
that's crazy. Shout out to all those moms and dads who have imagination and
Oh
great
yeah,
imagination.
absolutely.
We know the offensive line is really good. We'll hit them on a different week. We talk so much about the offense that some people that would be non-UGA fans are going to think that the defense is a bunch of bums because the last 3 or 4 years, almost the
What?
entire
Yeah.
team for the last 3 years is in the NFL. But
And you heard
just
what
because,
Kirby said today. They're not as good. This is the least talented team he's coached in a while. He's lying to you.
yep, he is. He that is the Saban coming out in him, where he's not going to tell you what you want to know.
No, absolutely not. I don't know what position group you want me to start with. I'll just start with linebackers if you don't mind, because they got some boys over there.
Oh, do they?
If you want to know how good we are, they've already got a true freshman learning how to take play calls and get guys in position. CJ Allen,
Mm.
6'1", 235 freshman. Georgia's already going crazy for him. Smile Munden and Pop, Jamon Pop Dumas Johnson. Those are our interior guys. Georgia, believe it or not, and I've been reading this week. We don't run a 3-4 like we used to because of the way their offenses go. Georgia's actually a 4-2-5. The only difference is we run 3 down linemen and edge, but the edge is a defensive lineman outside linebacker combo. I'll cover that one in a minute. So we're really always running 2 interior linebackers. Trust me, I'm trying to figure out how to use that in NCAA. Still haven't figured out how I'm going to run it yet. But we got some boys in there, mostly a lot of freshmen, redshirt freshmen coming on the scene. Just know that their guys are going to be popping there. Raylan Wilson, Troy Bowles, son of Tampa Bay's head coach. We're not, and oh yeah, Jalen Walker, who terrorized C.J. Stroud in that fourth quarter. We ain't lacking at linebacker.
Well, and we would be remiss to live in the area that we do if we do not say the word Chaz Chambliss, who is a
Chaz Chambliss.
product
Well, that's the
of
reason why I did
Carrollton,
not mention.
former
I didn't even
former
mention his
Carrollton
name yet
Trojan.
for one
Yep.
reason. He's a defensive lineman now. They've moved his position.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, so that goes back to, and if I can't even find him on my. Oh, yeah, they're still listed as an outside linebacker, but he's a
Mhm.
lineman in reality.
Okay.
So the linebacker,
He
outside
kind of did
linebacker,
everything at Carrollton. So
he does. So the way Graham Coffey, who who has a site, he's really good explaining this stuff. I can send you a link, but Georgia's outside linebackers are meant to do one thing: terrorize the quarterback, but also take on blocks. That's why Georgia has 4 linemen. One of those is a linebacker. So Chaz is great, don't get me wrong, but he is probably the least talented in that room right now. I
scary.
wouldn't be shocked if by the end of the year he's lost his starting job. And
Oh,
listen, I live here, I live in this area, I get it. But you've got Marvin Jones Jr., who is about 3 inches taller and as heavy as he is, but he's stronger and faster.
mhm.
Out there that Georgia's waiting on Darius Smith, who's starting to get the hang of it. But then all of a sudden you got true freshmen. You got Damon Wilson Jr., who Georgia said I will admit it, Georgia said we will not be outbid by Ohio State. We'll pay him, but we're not going to pay him what they offer because Georgia's smart about it. Gabe Harris is an outside linebacker. Georgia shifted him to 5 tech, which is the defensive end. Michael Williams.
Yep.
We've shifted him because he can become a bigger body. And Sam Mpemba, that boy, apparently those 3 freshmen have come on strong in the past 2 weeks, like levels that we weren't ready for.
Yeah, it's scary, and for all those Trojan fans out there, we're not dumping on Chaz. We promise
No,
you, we're not.
even though I grew up a Central guy, not hating on him, I'm just saying he's good, but he's not the best in that room.
Not yet. Not yet.
Not yet. He could change his mind, but we'll
Yeah,
see what happens.
we want them to keep watching the show, so we're gonna not yet.
Yeah, my bad. I'm sorry.
We don't want to lose half our audience. No, it's. I mean, we're going to get more into this team as it plays out because I think every week we could probably pick a handful on each side of the ball, including
Yeah,
special teams, and
I'll
just
leave you with this just so you know. But Michael Williams is going to be your guy on defensive line. He's going to be insane, and your defensive backs. The one I'm loving hearing right now is the fact that Julian Humphrey, who wanted to transfer midseason, I believe last I heard he will be starting in the game. He's come on that strong against guys that we thought had him beat.
mm,
But that, and of course, everything goes through Malachi Starks in the secondary. Dude is unreal.
yeah, he's more than a center fielder out there. He might be the entire outfield.
Yeah, he is.
But that's just kind of our brief preview of the depth chart. A lot of this is going to change between now and game one, and game one is just this Saturday. But before we get into that, something we want to continue this season on Hunker Down is every time we have a new person on the show, we like to ask about the origin of their fandom. Where did your Bulldog fandom start?
Mine started from the day I was born. Dad always said I was barking before I could even talk. So just grew up watching them with Dad on the couch. I grew up weekly watching the 25 years of Vince Dooley VHS tape weekly with Herschel and stuff. Just can't find it on YouTube, unfortunately, and I don't have a VHS player anymore. But yeah, just been that since day one. I'm not like Oregon every now and then. I liked USC when they're in their heyday. You like those teams because they're fun to watch,
Yeah,
but you still fall back to your number one. So Georgia will be it forever. Ain't changing. Can't do it.
absolutely. Absolutely. All right, let's dive into this schedule. We'll just
Whew.
we'll briefly jump into it, but for the most part tonight, let's just keep it maybe to the first couple games. We'll really preview the game coming up this weekend. But what major Division I powerhouse do they have in week one?
UT Martin, and that's not even Division One. That's Division One, yeah, but FCS. But
Yep,
remember,
they are down there. Yep.
that was going to be the Oklahoma game.
Right,
SEC said you can't play them. We're bringing them in,
right.
and
That
everyone's
they
screaming at Georgia. Says we cheated the system. Blame the SEC. That ain't
yep,
us.
that's
Speaking to you,
that's
Bama fans. No offense, but that's the ones I keep hearing yell at me.
I was about to say I have to defend them there. That was an NCAA ruling just for the same reason you said. They said, look, we understand they were already on your schedule, but they're going to be on your schedule next year for obvious reasons when we redo everything. But for now, they got to be off. So Georgia scrambled. They had a couple options. UT Martin was actually probably the most competitive option they had, and so that's the one they took.
Yeah, and it works out. I mean, we all like a cupcake game every now and then, especially those of us who don't make enough money to go to a Georgia game and pay $200 a ticket. I don't get to go this year. Life happens, but UT Martin will be a good game. It's on SEC Plus, I think, whatever ESPN app. So it's basically we're going to light the ball up. We're going to run the ball. Georgia's going to do some things, not show their hand because the big storyline we forgot to mention, Bobo's the coordinator again. So it's not going to be your Mark Richt Bobo. This is going to be unhinged because I think him and Kirby are they're a little PO'd that they think it was all munkin.
Right, and we're going to
So I
really
pray
see
for
what this
UT
thing
Martin
is.
now.
Yeah, yeah, we might as well. UT Martin was that Terrell Owens' alma mater?
I don't know on that one.
There, he was one of the UTs. I think it was UT Martin, but I could be wrong.
Uh,
Shout out To either way.
he went to Chattanooga. That's who it
Chattanooga,
was.
UT Chattanooga. Okay,
Yeah.
I knew it was one
Yeah.
of them. I always get the two confused. UT Martin though, they're not going to just roll over. They're going to
No.
bring everything they got because it is week one. There's always that random chance that just
Oh yeah.
the world ends and for Georgia and somehow you find a way to kick a field goal and win. I wouldn't put a lot of faith in that. If
I
you're
wouldn't, and if that happens, I will be at the liquor store buying as much tequila as needed.
By the way, if you run an establishment that sells those kind of things or a gambling site, you can actually sponsor our show because it's now okay to do it in college sports. So if you want to sponsor the show, just reach out to us any way you can. We would love to talk about your establishment of adult beverages or your betting lines because we will be talking betting and gambling on this show throughout the year. Just not right now because you know minus 60,000 is just not a good betting line for Georgia in the first week.
No, your better line is betting Carson Beck for Heisman right now. I know people put money on it.
What is he about? He's
2000.
he's 2001 or he's plus
Yes,
two.
the plus 2000 is what they were saying because everyone thinks it's going to be Caleb Williams again.
It could be. He
It could be. We'll see what happens. It just depends. We'll
there's
see what
always a
happens.
dark
But
horse,
there's always a dark horse, and Carson Beck is primed to have that Joe Burrow senior season. Not calling it. I'm not saying it. But you look at the schedule that we're going over. You look at the talent around him. You got an offensive line that can hold it. A defense that's a darn good defense. Doesn't have all those first rounders, but guys will develop. He could break some records that Georgia's had for a long time.
which are some really good records.
Yeah.
The first let's see what the first 3 weeks you get UT Martin, at home. You get Ball State at home, and
South
then you
Carolina,
get South Carolina. Wow, your first 4 games are actually at home. That
and
is
UAB.
crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah, I see
we
that.
lucked out on that one. Yeah, it's just like how it happens. Unless the only game I would say makes me nervous if it does is South Carolina, just because there's some bad blood between the coaching staffs, which we can go into later. I got a good story on that one. Um, but yeah, South Carolina's that one team that always just gets right up in you right when you don't need them to. So we'll see what happens on that. But Georgia should come out 4-0 at the end of that with a pretty
Yeah,
good margin.
yeah, I would say so. It you should be at least 4-0 before you start sniffing your big competition, as you're saying.
And it just depends at South Carolina how Spencer Rattler does and what he does this year for sure.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to see him up close last year, as he did play Georgia State, a team we used to cover here at Impact Media. But I saw all the film going into it. I saw the game as close up. I saw the coach's tape. Rattler can throw. He can play a little bit. Depends on the team around him. The coaching staff sets him up to succeed. So he's a
Yeah,
wild card. When you go
he
against
is.
him, you're not quite sure what you're going to get.
Yeah, he'll be all right. He's just this is his make it or break it. He's got to do it this year or he'll be a fourth, fifth round draft pick. He won't go. He will be a spot starter. Your Dallas Cowboys could, he'll be that guy off the bench in case of emergency. He could be your Tony Romo. You never know.
No, we got Trey Lance now. We're good. We traded for Trey Lance. We're
Fair enough.
Super Bowl. You guys heard it here. Dallas going to Super Bowl. Trey Lance is going to lead them.
There it is.
I'm just
There's the
saying.
Dallas Cowboy
I'm just
yearly
saying.
quote.
I'm just saying. I can't. There's actually no Cowboy stuff around me right now. That's crazy. I guess the blue shirt, but
Yeah.
yeah, like I said, we'll dig more into the schedule as it comes up. Obviously, this should be more of a training game for them coming up, but we're still going to get to see the big stars. You're still going to get to get excited, like you said. If you get a chance to go to the game, hey, shout us out, take some photos, show everybody what the game day experience is like. If you watch on
Absolutely.
television, like we probably will, I still take photos. Show us you enjoying the game. Maybe we'll do that some of these weeks and show you guys some of the stuff that we do when we hunker down and watch games. Um, let's get into a little bit of a prediction. We won't
All
really
right.
go. We won't really go record right now because I mean, what are we thinking? 3 or 4 wins this year, probably in the month of August
Yeah, month of August
or
and September,
month of
it should
September.
be
Yeah, it should be 4 or 5 wins.
should be 4.
But
Yeah, that's
not necessarily a record number, but prediction as to how the season should go.
well, I mean, I can kind of give you one. Like the best one is obviously the first 3-peat since Minnesota back in the 30s. That's your best one. Your worst, I think, is a 2-loss in a if you're lucky sneak into the playoff kind of season. That all depends on Carson. I hate to say that rides on him, but he's a streaky player, hoping that's he turned the corner. If not, and we got to go with the freshman, we will really find out what we got. So, but I mean, looking at the schedule that we're sitting there talking about that we're going to go over, you got 3 games that I really think are going to mess with us. Auburn with their new system. We'll see how they do. I don't know if they're going to be ready yet, but they will be dangerous in about 2 years. Florida's a dumpster, but I never put it past Florida. And I never put it. I know it sounds crazy. I never put it past Vanderbilt to mess with us some kind of way. They just them or
Yeah,
Missouri always mess with us.
make it a little closer than it should be.
Oh yeah, they do, and I know Kirby likes to hamstring us a little bit in those games and tie one arm behind our back just to see what adversity can do for you. So,
Yeah,
but yeah,
he's gonna let Brock Bowers place kick. I think
I think it's that, and he was going to let him play quarterback too.
might as well let one of us play that week.
I don't feel like having my back hurt any worse than it already does, so I'll pass.
Yeah, my shoulder's still a little sore from throwing like a week ago. So,
Fair enough.
but yeah. Prediction wise, this season, I think you're gonna very much. You do have a slightly easier schedule. You just have to not beat yourself, and I know that everybody says
Yeah,
that all the time, but for the most part, you should be able to handle at least 75% of your schedule when you get those 4 close games that we were talking about. Just don't beat yourself and watch out for torrential downpours or crazy winds or something like that, or the
yeah,
random Georgia thunderstorm, which is probably happening around us right now. Other than that, they should be okay. Even if they
yeah.
had kicker woes, I don't think they're going to have kicker woes. This
We
this
shouldn't have
team
this
is
year. We got 2 kids going for it, Zirkle and Woodring. Woodring's a freshman. He is more accurate. He actually has a bigger leg, I think, than Zirkle, but Zirkle also can kick those 50s, 60s. It's just you never know if it's going to go left or right, and we really don't want a Florida State kind of kicker again. So
I was about
we've
to say
had
that's
those.
very ACC style.
Yes, so I think Woodring will be your starter, but I think Zirkle will get chances to prove. Hello, sorry, we have a visitor. We will definitely see what happens. But I think the kicking game. And besides, we got the Thunder from Down Under himself at punter. Like you're not doing better than him. And I'm blanking on his name right now because Brett Thorson.
Yep.
Yeah. So Thorson, he always would tweet Stetson hates me. Well, Stetson never let him punt,
I
and
mean
he
that,
punted that. Yeah. But he's got a leg, so special teams I got no issues. So we should be fine for once.
and for the sake of reminding everybody, we are a family friendly show. The first visitor we've had here on the show is actually Jake's cat Kiyoshi, and
Yes.
not like a random stranger who just walked in the door.
Yeah, come here. Yeah, she wants to be part of it, but she keeps moving.
And don't worry, there are a couple little furballs around here too that may make an appearance this year. It's just part of doing these shows. You never know what's going to happen on these shows. You never know what's going to happen on, between the hedges. But I'd venture to guess it's going to be a pretty good year for dog fans. And what is we got a couple minutes left. Who are the two biggest recruits on offense and defense that they can look forward to next year?
Oh, you set me up, man. This is easy. First off, we gotta go with Dylan Raiola, son of the center, son of a center. Yeah, sounds like here we go. But he is the son of the former center for the Detroit Lions, and his godfather is Matthew Stafford. Kid's good. His biggest comp right now is actually Pat Mahomes. I, I'm just saying, I hate to say it like that, but he is a off balance thrower, but it's effortless with him. Before I do another offensive guy, I'll do defense. Ellis Robinson the fourth, cornerback out of Bradenton. He's at IMG. Kid, there's already talk that he will be the most talented cornerback Georgia's had since Champ Bailey.
Hmm. That guy was pretty good.
Uh, he was good. This kid is on that kind of level. Georgia's glad to have him. Uh, offense. I'm sitting here looking at who else we got because I've got a guy I want to mention, but he won't start year one more than likely. I mean, I could go with a running back. We got a kid, Dwight Phillips, who's going to be great, kind of that Percy Harvin, get out in space, gadget guy. But I'm going to go with he's a guy you look forward to, unless you want to go like Daniel Calhoun on the offensive line. But it would be remiss. I'll mention that. I mentioned those because the biggest one I think is going to be Jaden Reddle, 6'4", 233. He was our backup get when we lost a tight end. This kid's a tight end on a Brock Bowers level. Yes, we keep getting them somehow. Him and Rella are friends. In defense, the second one, let's go with Justin Williams, linebacker. Looks like he's going to be good. We got tons of guys that we're bringing in, linebackers, secondary. Georgia's got a class that's crazy. But if you want a wild card kid, Mays, Georgia, Quintavious Johnson. He played quarterback for Mays High School on Saturday. He ran a 65-yard touchdown as what is he? I'm looking here, 6'4", 245. And he's only going to get bigger.
Is he a senior?
He's a senior. He will be in Georgia next year. Yeah,
I
Mays
believe I've
plays him at
seen
every
him.
position.
I believe I've seen him play before. His name does ring a bell. He may have torched
Yeah.
Douglas County or some other high school that I
Actually,
may
that
be
was
covering.
Douglas that they played on Saturday. They did play Douglas on
No, I
Saturday.
mean
So
this was a
yes,
couple years ago. So
yeah, it's going to be fun to watch. Georgia's got a bunch of 3-star guys. We could even have our own recruiting show, and I can kind of go through that with you. But yeah, Georgia's loaded for bear.
well, as you guys can tell, all the shows here at Impact Media this year are going to be video format. We're going to have a lot more guests. We're going to line up some fun stuff. We may even be in the same studio at some point. But for now, this has been the season 2 premiere of Hunker Down. He's Jake, Trash Panda Skinner. I'm Jeremy the Impact York. Dog fans, there's a lot of good stuff coming up this year. Hope you guys keep tuning in, and you never know who we're going to have on here. So you want to tune in each and every week. So, Jake, you want to give us a go, dogs, on the way out?
Yeah, I'll give you one. Go Dogs.